You're live. That fix it? Please, please tell me. Yes! Yes, it fixed it! Why does YouTube torture me this way? YouTube has never done me this way before. We're back, baby! Now, if we could... Where'd my... Oh, man. Ugh. Okay, well, here's my PS3. So now we don't hear the PS3. What do you think the reasoning for that is? Any ideas? Look here, I have it set. Look at that. Why was somebody driving by my house very slowly? I have it set to output desktop audio. No, I can't. Nobody can hear it. Okay. Oh! I'm a genius. I'm a daggone genius. Somebody say something. I'm gonna say something in chat. It finally works. I don't know why it was so difficult, but it works now. Okay. So I'll tell you what. The good thing about all of this... That shouldn't be possible. Furry, do you hear me twice? That shouldn't even make sense. There's nothing here that should be hearing me twice. Would make... What? I only see my voice once. What if I tune into the live stream? Do I hear myself twice? And yes, we are still shooting for that, thing. Okay. Alright, I'll look as well, Oh, I didn't see this. Zane, did you see that, NF made another post? Okay, let me open my... I'm getting distracted. You only hear me once on Twitch? Let's look on YouTube. Let's see what YouTube has. Yes. There I am, just one time. Yes. There I am, just one time. Beautiful. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Okay. Beautiful. Thank you, Curry. Thank you. Okay. So now what we need to do is get this thing off of here. Let's restart the system because nobody nobody got to see what I was talking about because I didn't have this set up. Hey guys, what's up? I'm the Dead Cactus. Finally we got everything working. Thank the Lord. That's supposed to happen. Don't worry about that. Okay? So I bought a PS3. Okay? I'm going to show it to you because nobody on YouTube got to see it yet. Here it is. In all its glory. Yes, I do. They've always been that way, Alan. Okay. Here's the issue. I bought this thing. I wanted to software mod it. I wanted to put custom firmware on my PS3. Somebody already did it! Somebody already put custom firmware on this PS3 and it wasn't me! How dare they? So now, we have to take the custom firmware off so I can put it on. Because I want to do it myself. Daggone it, if nothing's going to go my way today, I want this to go my way. How to remove PS3 custom firmware. How to uninstall PS3 custom firmware PS3 hin. Look, Mr. Mario has done a video on this. Where's my other browser tab? There it is. Alright, Mr. Mario.
Hey, what is going on, everyone?
Mr. Mario, you gotta tell me how to remove my custom firmware.
Hey, what is going on?
Mr. Mario is the only person I trust on modding. Mr. Mario PS3 jailbreak remove. What is? I'm not gonna click that. Yes, this is the video we want to watch right here. Prerequisites. Modded
Hey, what is
PS3.
going on, everyone? It's me, Mr. Mario, and in this video, I'm going to be showing you all something I don't typically make videos on, but I've had several different requests on covering this here, and it's not as straightforward as I would really expect it to be, but it's still quite easy to do. I'm going to be showing you all if you have a modified PS3, that means if you have custom firmware or if you have PS3 HIN, how you can revert it back to stock by installing an official firmware, therefore unmodifying it. Now, it is as simple as installing the original official firmware. However, we do have to take an extra step or two in this as well. So for anybody who's wanting to do this, who wants to return to a stock state of some kind, you're more than welcome to check this video out. Although do keep in mind that once you install this official firmware, you will have to go through the entire jailbreaking process yet again, whether that means using PS3 exploits tools or using a hardware flasher to modify your system. So be sure this is something that you want to do.
I want to do this.
So first of all, you will need your PlayStation 3, as you can see right here. This is a custom firmware PS3. It has all of my homebrew and all that fun stuff on here, and you can tell from app home PS3 game, which is definitely not on a stock system. I'm currently running 4.86 rebug, so I'm going to install 4.86 official firmware on this. So for this, we will need our PS3. We're also going to need a official PS3 controller, a mini USB cable to hook up to the system, as well as a USB flash drive to transfer over the update file. So if you have all of that on hand, let's go ahead, move over to our PC and grab our official update.
Okay.
Over at your PC.
Where do I get the official update from? Because I haven't done this in a while. Yes. Here we go. And then you do like, do this? I haven't done this in a long time. Is it this? I haven't done this in a long time. 9.2. Mod 9.2? Where's this video? 9.2. Okay, good. You like, I don't want to look at him telling me how to do this. That's right, you have to save as. Wait, right click. Save link as? Yes, right like that. PS3 updat.pub. I remember that. There's nothing in my downloads that I couldn't have seen anyway, but I was like, I don't know. Okay, that's good. So now we put in the USB, and hopefully don't fry this little front circuit board that's sensitive. Okay. What's over here? What is this? Boot? What did I have this in? World? What was I running on this? Oh, this is like a okay, I know what this is. You probably need to be, yes. Wait, that's only a 32 gigabyte drive? Didn't know that. Okay. Yes. We're gonna name it. Format it. How's everybody doing in chat, by the way? Format is complete. I'm gonna bring you over to here. I'm gonna open another one of you. Go to my downloads. Okay. Now we're gonna listen to this guy again. That's good to hear, Curry.
Go ahead, grab your USB drive, and you will need to make sure it is formatted to FAT32. It has to be FAT32. And if you've messed around with the PS3 or you've jailbroken it or modified it in any way, you're probably pretty familiar with formatting to FAT32 on here. But either way, just for a quick format, I'm going to right-click, format, FAT32. That's all okay. That is going to erase any data you care about off that drive, so make sure you've backed it up if you care about anything there. But once we have our USB drive set up, you'll need to go into the USB drive, create a new folder in all uppercase, one word, call it PS3.
Oh.
And inside of the PS3 folder, you need to create a new folder called update, one word, all uppercase. And inside of this update folder, you need to copy over your official firmware update. So here, I'm just going to revert back to 4.86 official firmware.
Okay.
You can right click, copy, and paste it into this folder directly. And it really doesn't matter which version you're going to be doing here. To keep it simple, you can stay on the same version, but again, you will need to make sure this is something you want to do. I know for a fact, 4.86, I can re-jailbreak this using software-only methods, which is why I'm doing this, but if you're using this same guide for a PS3. Alright, so at the PS3 you will need to make sure you have your controller on hand and a mini USB cable to plug it in, because we're going to be booting into recovery mode. And the reason why we're going to do this is because PS3 Hen, as well as many other custom firmwares, if you go to settings, system update, and do update via storage media, there's actually protections in place there a lot of the time. So even if you try to update your system to official firmware, you might actually get an error, and that is the custom firmware preventing you from accidentally flashing a official firmware and unjailbreaking your system. However, we are going to be bypassing that here by using recovery mode, because again, the intent of this video is to install official firmware. So for that, make sure your USB drive is plugged in, make sure you're ready to plug in your PS3 controller, and turn off your system. For the recovery mode process, you want to hold down the power button to turn on your PS3
Did it just
and
beep at me, or was that him?
the recovery mode process.
Oh, that was him. I thought that was my PS3. I was like, why did it do that? Okay, so we want to turn it off. Yes, the USB drive's in there. Okay.
Your PS3 controller and turn off your system. For the recovery mode process, you want to hold down the power button to turn on your PS3 and don't let go until it turns back off. Then hold down the power button yet again and release it when you hear two quick beeps together. After that, you can let go of the power button and you should be in recovery mode.
Okay. Press the power button. Keep holding it. Turns off. I might have let go too soon. Darn it! I let go too soon. I've got to set up this again. Also, we gotta get rid of that yellow. That yellow's killing me. I don't know why the PS3 just, like, consistently loves to default to the yellow theme. Please make it blue. There we go. Okay. Turn off system. You see how much better that looks? Goodness sakes alive. This is probably one of the most well, I don't know if this is one of the most chaotic streams I've ever done. It's definitely up there, I'll say that. Okay. So. Power button. I'm listening for it to turn off. All the way. Okay. That was all the way off. Now, we're going back on and we wait until we hear two beeps. Ah, two beeps. Okay.
Alright, so once you're in recovery mode, you should see this screen and just follow the instructions. Hook up your controller, press the PlayStation button. Now make sure your USB drive is plugged in and go all the way down to System Update.
Yep.
Press X. And now we're going to have to press Start and Select at the same time. And again, make sure this is absolutely what you want to do. This is going to unjailbreak your system.
I want to do this.
In order to get your mods and backups and all that stuff back, you must re-jailbreak your system following the entire jailbreaking process.
Yes.
Since I know this is what I want to do, I'm going to press Start and Select at the same time. So there we go. Once your console goes through the initialization process.
Okay. Also, another thing I want to do. Yeah, I'm sure I want to undo. I'm sure, guys, I'm sure. Good. I'm very sure, yes. Oh shoot, now I lost my train of thought. What was I gonna say? Darn it. Where was I going with this? Oh well, couldn't have been that important. Okay, so that should be all I need to do, yes.
After coming out of recovery mode, you should have a successfully unjailbroken PS3. Now you might be saying, oh, well, you still have all this homebrew here. That is correct, because it doesn't delete any of that data. We can't use any of these applications, but they're still going to be here. And of course, you're seeing the package manager, app home, webman, none of that stuff is here. But I can assure you, my PS3 has successfully been
Was there anything else in here we needed to do?
Same time. And again, holding the and select it the same for you, so just let it prepare and reboot.
Okay. We're good on that front. Now we're ready to jailbreak it. Now that we did that. Yeah, PS3 exploit.
Hey, what is going on?
Okay. I'm ready. I haven't jailbroken a PS3 in 2 years, I think. 2 years it's been. Oh, it's not done. I thought it was done. This is probably a pretty boring live stream, but I just did Minecraft. Yo, what's up, surgical malpractice? I accept. Do not turn off the system. If you do, you may not be able to restart it. Okay. Bet. Wow. Oh, I know what I was gonna say earlier. I remembered. I want to put a solid state in this thing because it's running on a hard drive right now, and hence the. I'm assuming that contributes to the install time being so slow here. Oh, that's cool. So, I don't know if you noticed this, Mr. Malpractice. You have a badge on your name now because you're the top clipper on my Twitch. So that's pretty neat. This is gonna take a while. We got any stories to tell? I don't think so. But yeah, I want to put a solid state drive in it just so I can speed it up and everything, increase the storage capacity, all that. In this survey, you will be asked to evaluate 2 page designs for a hypothetical search for Walmart bikes. Okay. Imagine you want to use Google search. Which experience do you find more helpful? This one? Or... yes, that means you need to be a moderator, which you are not. Or this one. I like the first one better because it has photos. Because it has photos. Done. Look at that. 35 cents, baby. Wow, this PS3 is taking a hot minute. Well, while that's going, I'm gonna look on Amazon for a solid state drive. Not that I'm gonna buy it soon, I'm just curious how much they run. Probably like 500 gigabytes. Or that was only at 50% when I looked down. Okay, about 40 bucks. That's not bad, actually. What the heck? 8 terabyte drive for $640? That cannot be right. Okay. Yep, 1080p. It's yellow again, I see. But look at that. Fresh PS3. Oh, it changed the color. Yes. Beautiful. Okay. Now we follow this video.
What's going on, everyone? It's me, Mr. Mario, and in this video I'm going to be showing you all, if you have a compatible PlayStation 3, how you can jailbreak it from start to finish with a fully fledged custom firmware. For those who do not know, this will be using the online PS3 toolset, and this is from B. Gearville as well as the PS3 exploit team. It's a fantastic tool that allows you to connect to a website on your PS3 and jailbreak it directly from there, so it's been really nice, and the PS3 toolset does a lot of heavy lifting for us. So, since it is from B. Gearville and the PS3 exploit team, I do always like to give a shout out and a thank you to them, because the work that they have done here has been nothing short of fantastic. Now, I also mentioned the PS3 toolset specifically because while as I favor the PS3 toolset method, there is also another option out there, which is the Flash Writer. Now, both of them will get you to the same point in the end. However, the big difference is the Flash Writer you can host yourself on a local server, while as the PS3 toolset is not self-hostable and it does rely on a website online being available. So if anything ever happens to the PS3 exploit team sites or the PS3 toolset website, it is not accessible for a time being, so at that point your alternative option might be the Flash Writer if you are still needing to jailbreak your system. I did want to at least highlight that here for anybody who might be interested in it, or worst case scenario, if there is something going on with the PS3 toolset site and it is not accessible. I will not be covering that method in this video here. However, I do have a separate video dedicated to going to be doing this here of a full homebrew much more firmware who do not have custom firmware requisites here. First of all, you do have to have a compatible PlayStation 3 which is up and running.
Yes.
And what do I mean by a compatible PlayStation 3? Well, first of all, it all comes down to the model. If you have a fat PlayStation 3 like this one right here, congratulations, you're all ready to go. Your system can take custom firmware. If you have a PS3 Slim, your system might be able to take custom firmware. I'm going to put some model numbers up here on screen because there's some models that can take custom firmware, some that might be able to take custom firmware, and others that cannot take custom firmware at all.
I can't remember.
However,
which one
if
this
you
is.
have a PS3,
I'll look real fast. What I did was I looked up. Oh, my Wi-Fi wants me to know Sony PlayStation 3 just connected to my Wi-Fi. Let me see which model number mine is. Basically what I did was I checked the, what's it called? Like the manufacture date on it. And manufacture date was July of 2010. And when I looked it up, everybody said that July of 2010 was old enough that it was good. Yeah, here it is. So I have a 2501A. So I'm right here.
3 Slim system, it would be recommended to check the minimum firmware version, which I'm going to show you here in a few minutes, because that will be the best way to determine if your console can take custom firmware or not.
Alright.
Finally, if you have a super slim PS3, you cannot follow along with this guide because it will not take custom firmware.
Right.
However, not all is lost. If you have an incompatible, that is a different type of modification, everything that a custom firmware is for, and the biggest benefit of compatible, go where you want to check your console compatibility, you must make sure it is on a proper firmware. And to do this here, you'll need to check the current firmware version by navigating over to the settings column, go into system settings, go into system information, and at the top you need to look at the system software version, and you need to make note of that number. Now you just need to do a comparison and see if that number is the same number or lower than the number that I'm showing on the title of this video. And if your PS3 is running the same firmware version or a lower firmware version than the one shown on the title of this video, then that means that you should be able to continue on with this. However, looking at the PS3 exploit site for the compatibility right here, you could see that the B. Gearville PS3 toolset has a supported firmware range, and custom firmware compatible is shown right here. So this is regularly updated. So in the future, for example, if there is
So this is actually my PS3 over here. I'm using a capture card.
is a new firmware update, and the firmware you are on is higher than what is listed in the video or what is listed for the Gearville PS3 toolset or custom firmware compatibility. That just means that you need to wait for the PS3 toolset to be updated. As for the video here, thankfully the process typically doesn't change. So let's say there is a higher firmware update which is out in the video. Just going to need but my numbers have verified your calls to you everything to work here. Now, if you're ready to continue on, the first thing we must do here is check the minimum firmware version.
Okay.
And to do that, we are going to have to do a little bit of prep work to get our PS3 ready for the PS3 toolset.
Okay.
For this, all you really need at this point here is going to be your PS3, a controller, and make sure your PS3 is connected to the internet. Now for this, we will have to set the time on our console accurately. And to do this, navigate back over to the settings, go down to date and time. And for the date and time, we're going to change this here, and we're going to set this to set via internet. Tap this, wait a few seconds, and as you can see, it has been updated. Now once that's been updated, we can exit out of here. There is also a system setting that would be worth changing here. Inside of here, there'll be a couple, one of which will be automatic update, which I recommend turning off. That way you do not automatically update your PS3 on accident after it's been modified.
Okay.
Another thing would be display what's new, to set this to off. Once those have been changed, we're going to have to temporarily make a new user profile. Don't worry, nothing big here, and you can delete it afterwards, but we're just going to set a new user profile for all of our jailbreaking. So for this, we can come up to create new user, user 1, or you can call it whatever you want to. For this demonstration, I can call it JB for jailbreak. And once that's been done, hit OK. And from here, you're going to want to sign into your jailbreak user account. Now, once you're signed in here, we're just going to go over to the internet browser and clean up our browser for everything here. Go into the internet browser, and the first thing that we're going to need to do is tap the triangle button. Now come up to Tools, and inside of Tools, we're going to go to Confirm Browser Close and set this to off. Next up, go to Tools again, go to Home Page, hit Use Blank Page.
Pause. I'm not that fast. Home page, use blank page.
Go down and hit OK. Go into Tools once more. We're going to now delete our cookies. We next need to delete our search history. We'll need to delete our cache. And we have to delete the authentication information. And once that's all done, tap the circle button, and it should now close out of your browser without any prompt. Now we can go back into our internet browser, and once this opens up, it should be a nice clean browser to work out of. We're now going to go to the PS3 toolset site, which you can tap the start button on your controller, delete all of this, and this will be the exact website we're going to go to. It will be spelled exactly like this.
Our colon. Where's our colon at? Is that a colon? Is that a colon or is that a semicolon? Well, here. Look here. Problem solved. Okay. E S B L E E .com. Assuming that's a dot and not a comma. Okay.
https://ps3toolset.com. And if you need to see this in another way, you can check the links down below in the description of this video, and it'll be right there. Once you're ready to go to the PS3 toolset site, go down to Start or Enter, and wait for the website to load. And this is the important message that we need right.
Sure.
Here, it's going to ask you if you want to run a plugin. You always want to say yes to this, so say yes when you're prompted.
Mine didn't say that. This seems concerning, unless my Wi-Fi blocked it, because my Wi-Fi does like to block something. Aha! It's just slow.
For this here, and the website does take a bit to load in, so just give it a few moments here to finish up. Now your PlayStation 3 should beep at you. You should get a successful notification there.
Preparing to... What did that say? Can I play Minecraft, what, on this thing? Or just in general? You can play Minecraft on PS3. Play split screen. Okay, it beeped.
And you're going to get a message here with some donation links for the PS3 toolset and the PS3 exploit team.
Okay.
If you do like this toolset and it has helped you out, I always recommend supporting and donating them here because the team does amazing work to allow stuff like this to be possible. However, once you are okay with this here, you can come down to OK, tap the button on this, and now we should be loaded in. So now at this point we can come up to System Manager and tap the X button. It's now going to download the System Manager tool. Again, just give it a few moments to wait.
Okay. Yep, those show the same things.
And here we go. Once this loads in, this page here is going to tell you if your console is compatible or not. You need to look over at this section here where it says CFW compatible PS3. And if you have a green check mark, that means that you can continue on with the rest of this tutorial. Unfortunately, if you do not get a green check mark, that means that your console is not compatible and you will not be able to use custom firmware. However, like I said earlier in the video, you can check out my PS3 HIN video. But if you're going to be installing custom firmware that our console is, that this is possible on our system. So since we have been able to verify that our console is compatible, we can now close out of the browser for the time being.
Okay.
And once it's closed, let's go ahead, grab a USB flash drive and take it over to our computer because we need to get our download set up so we can actually jailbreak our system. Okay. The links for everything that I'm going to be showing will be down below in the description, but the first thing that we should download here is going to be Rufus. This is going to be to format your USB drive because you see you are going to need to format it a certain way for the PS3 to recognize it successfully. In order to grab this tool,
where Rufus at? Rufus!
Just come down here, go to the download section, and if you want to install it, you can either get the 64-bit version or the x86.
What's up, Rufus? I want the portable. Alright, there's that done.
32-bit version depending on your Windows installation, or just grab the portable version. I typically just download the portable version. Part of what we're going to do will involve backing up our system flash and then verifying it. And in order to verify it, we need PyPS3 checker. Now you need to come to the link for PyPS3 tools, and you can
Okay. Hey, that's what I just took off of here.
come over to this file right here. Which is going to be PyPS3 checker standalone package, and there's going to be a date on it. Click on this file, and then once you're at this page, click on the download link.
This? Yes.
And download this zip file somewhere you can easily find it. The next thing we're going to need is the actual firmware since we are installing custom firmware on here. So typically the latest firmware that has been up to date here has been the EvilNat custom firmware from EvilNat himself. Now I do recommend giving this a nice read here because there's...
Okay, let's read it. EvilNat. About to put some EvilNat on this PS3. PSN. this mean? No.
So many options and changes that are done on here. Just EvilNat has really been doing a ton of work to constantly improve this firmware.
Nice.
However, if you are wanting to download this here, you can just come down to the download section and download whichever firmware will work for you. Now, there's going to be a lot of links and you might be a little overwhelmed, so let me just explain this right here. Now, typically a retail PS3 is going to be a CEX model. So that means you're going to be downloading either the CEX version or the CEX PEX version. Anything that says DEX on here, you're going to want to ignore it because you cannot install that right now unless you convert your system after it has been jailbroken to a DEX or developer or debug console. Now, if you're choosing between PEX or CEX, really, I'll put it like this. If you don't ever plan to make use of developer capabilities and don't ever plan to convert your system to a debug or a dev system, you can just download the CEX variant. However, if you would like those extra capabilities just in case, or in the future, or if you plan to do that here, you can download the PEX variant. There's no incorrect answer here. I'm going to download the PEX CEX version. Now, the next step here will be if you would like those plan to make use of developer capabilities and don't ever plan to convert your system to a debug or a dev system, you can just download the CEX variant. However, if you would like those extra capabilities just in case, or in the future, or if you plan to do that here, you can download the PEX variant. There's no incorrect answer here. I'm going to download the PEX CEX version. Now, the next step here will be if you're having issues with your system, because there's a few other flags here. Essentially, if your Blu-ray drive is not working or you don't have a Blu-ray drive on your system, you want—
I didn't even test it, bro. Probably should do that, right? Do I have a PS3 game anywhere? I think I still have a use. That's not my... I'm pretty sure I still have some PS3 games somewhere. But if not, I have Redbox movies I can put in there and find out if the Blu-ray drive works that way. Hey, look! PS3 game. Do I, Oh, it auto-launched. Well, that'll tell us if it's working. It recognized it really fast. Latest update data for this software. Sign in. No. I don't need to update it. Okay. Well, sweet. So we know that works. Music download. I bet those don't exist anymore. Yep. Okay. We can quit this. Quit game. Cool. Not gonna lie. So far, having owned both a slim and a super slim and a fat, I like this one the most, which is good. Okay.
Want to get the no BD option. If you're having issues with your Bluetooth board on your system, you'll want to get the...
I didn't check that either. Let's see. Do you connect? Yeah, you do. Alright, sweet. What percent are you? Fully charged. I don't even need that cable anymore.
No BT option. If you have issues with both your Blu-ray drive and your Bluetooth board, you want to get no BD, no BT. And finally, use this one at your own risk. In the last few years, overclocking on the PS3 has been a thing, so if you're wanting to try an overclocked firmware on your PS3, you can get the OC variant.
That does
However,
not
for
exist.
this demonstration here, I'm just going to be getting the PEX CEX version because this will work on all retail units, and it will also have some extra developer features, including allowing you to convert your system to a developer system. Once you pick your variant, you want to click the download link. It'll bring you to a mega download page, and I've already saved this here. However, there's going to be a download button in which you can just click download, let it download, and then save the archive somewhere you can easily find it. Since we've downloaded a couple of archive files, you might need something to extract them, and for this, I do recommend using 7-zip. It's easy enough to use, it's free, and you can just download whichever version will work for your operating system.
It didn't
you
give
can
me the
actually come over
option.
to the download section, and
There was no option to overclock, unfortunately.
there's a few more listed over here. When we download the custom firmware and extract it, we have to make sure that it's not going to be corrupted, so it will install properly on our system.
Okay.
And for this, you can use whatever method you want to check the MD5 file hash of it. There's several different tools and applications out there. I'm going to be linking this one because it is online when you actually install, but you want to keep this tab up and running. And finally, you're going to...
Okay, sure. I guess. Maybe it's important. Go ahead and open up both of these. I need them.
Need some homebrew when you actually install custom firmware on your system.
Yes,
so one of the first pieces of homebrew I do recommend is Multiman, which is a nice backup launcher and also allows you to back up your own game discs from PS1, PS2, and PS3. In order to download this, click on Multiman.
Old Multiman though. Hasn't been updated. Is there a new version of Multiman? Oh wait, Multiman. Oh, that's where I just was. Whoa. What is CDG player? Okay, let's not get lost in the sauce. Okay, Multiman. What is Showtime Multiman? I don't know. Okay.
Scroll down here, and you're going to want to download the Multiman base.
Okay. Multiman base. Wow, that was last updated a really long time ago. Holy cow. Okay.
Just download this somewhere you can easily find it. And in case you are worried about the version number not being matched up, you don't have to worry about this here. Even though this is for a lower firmware, this will work fine on higher firmwares. So now with all of our downloads downloaded and situated, we now need to work on formatting our USB drive. For this here, we're going to be using Rufus. Now do keep in mind for your USB drive, we are going to be formatting it, meaning that all data is going to be erased from this drive. So
clearing up my download.
So if there's anything you care about, you're going to want to back up that data to your computer and then format the drive.
Okay.
Just keep that in mind, you've been warned here. But as you can see, mine has been connected, so I'm going to minimize out of that and open up Rufus. You should get this message for user account control, just say yes to this. And if it asks if you want to check for updates, you can say yes or no. I'm going to say yes here. Now you should come to this screen, and right here, you'll need to select your flash drive. If your USB drive is not coming up, you might have to come down to show advanced.
I will. There, hopefully you could hear it too. Excuse me. I thought this thing told me it was 32 gigabytes. Wait. So then why are you saying updated? No, I don't know. Now, why are you saying there's a drive with 128 if you're saying you only have 32? Hang on. What is this thing called? It's called the call like part PS3 part Yes, that. Why'd the PS3 just make it blue? Oh. Okay, I was gonna say, there's no way that's a 32 gigabyte drive. That thing. Okay. Well, look, it's a good thing we used Rufus. That's why.
Advanced drive properties and list additional hard drives. And right here, you'll need to select your flash drive. If your USB drive is not coming up, you might have to come down to Show Advanced Drive Properties and list additional hard drives. However, since mine is showing up, I'm not worried about that. Next up, you're going to need to come to Boot Selection and change this to non-bootable.
Okay.
Now there's two incredibly important options that you have to set, and if you do not set these properly, it will not work on your PS3. The first thing will be partition scheme must be MBR.
Okay.
It cannot be GPT. It must be MBR.
Must be.
If it is not MBR, it will not detect on your PS3.
Won't detect.
And the second thing is going to be FAT32. It cannot be any other format. It has to be FAT32.
Has to be.
Again, if you do not have MBR and FAT32, this will not work for your PS3. Now the volume label can be whatever you want it to be, but once this is all set up, you can click on Start, and as long as you understand this will destroy all the data you care about
Destroys
here,
all the data.
click on OK, and give it a few moments to format. And once it is done formatting here, we should be all good. You can click on Close, and you're done formatting your USB drive. Now with the drive formatted, let's go ahead, right click, eject it, and take it back over to our console. Don't worry, we're going to mess with the additional downloads later on, but we just have some more work to do on the console. Over at the console, plug in your USB drive and navigate over to one of the media columns here, such as music, and you should be able to find a USB device. And if this USB device is showing up, that means it has been formatted properly for your PS3. So now let's work on getting a firmware dump from our console. In order to do this, go back over to the internet browser.
Yep, there it is.
Launch it, and once the browser opens up, we can go back to Start. We can erase all this.
Hold on. Yep, going over here. Pressing Start.
This here, and you're going to go to the same website here, which will be ps3toolset.com. You can come down here, hit Enter.
Watch this. I'm too.
Enter, and wait for the website to load up. And
all
as
that
it's
in
loading,
again.
you can also tap the select button and add this to our bookmarks so we can easily access it later. Now, just like before, it will take some time to come back up here, so just give it a few moments. As always, if
Yeah, we definitely need to put a solid state in this thing. This thing's slow. Very, very slow. Yeah? Gotta wait for it to ask me. I wanna, yep, there we go, run the plugin. Overclock a Wii U. Oh my. Find one that works first, and then maybe. I'm sure someone's done it somewhere. If they've if they've overclocked a calculator, I'm sure you can overclock a Wii U.
it asks to run this plugin, you always want to say yes. And now once that is all complete,
Oh, hey, look. It tells me I'm CEX. Look right there. How about that?
we can, as usual, hit OK here once we understand that. Now go back over to the system as usual. And now once that is all complete, we can, as usual, hit OK
It didn't tell me that yet.
here once we understand that. Now go back over to the...
Why didn't it? Also, I forgot to bookmark this. Select, right? Add to bookmarks. It appears that something failed. Try that again. Maybe I will type it in this time. What was the website? Oh, hey, there it is. Beautiful. Okay, so that is the exact same thing I went to last time. Okay, well, while that's taking a really long time, I'm gonna go run and use the bathroom real quick. Right, I'm back. What'd I miss? Nothing. Except... What is that? What does that say? Will attempt to what? Reload. I want to continue. Sure. Reload. Oh. I'm gonna turn on my heater and hope that my house can handle the computer, the PS3, and the heater all at the same time. I'm starting to freeze in here. If the stream ends suddenly, you'll know why. I'll just try not to run it very long. I'll try and heat up my toes and turn it back off. Yes, run the plug-in. At least I can read what it says now. Okay, it's doing things. Check the logs. May need to reboot the console. Interesting. Well, I don't know why that's happening, but I guess we'll reboot the console. Turn off. Turn off. Very strange. I mean, we know it can be modded because it told us so. I love the PS3 home screen. Probably my favorite, to be honest. Okay, so we want to log into user, not the dead cactus. Go to internet browser. And we want to go to our bookmark. Go. And when it asks us, oh yeah? Do you have a PS3? PS3 is goated, dude. I'm pretty sure as well that once I get this thing modded, I can install a mod that will let me even be able to use like my Xbox controller with it. I'm not positive, but I think. I know it'll let me use like a PS4, PS5 controller. You should mod it if you haven't. Definitely worth. Also, as soon as I get done modding this thing, I think, as long as we have time, me and Zane are going to play Don't Starve together. Because he's never played it before. Okay, I think it... Okay, so I just had to restart it, I guess. It works now. Okay. Sweet. Now we go back to half and half mode.
System Manager tab and wait for the System Manager to load in.
Okay.
And here we go. Once the System Manager comes up, you're going to need to work on getting the...
Oh, was I supposed to... Thank you. Supposed to put the USB in or anything? I guess not.
Flash memory dumped. So for this, you can go to the flash memory option, tap the X button, and there's only going to be one option here, which will be save.
Hang on, was I supposed to put my flash drive in here? Because it's not in there right now.
To download this, click on Multiman, scroll down, you can easily... You don't have firmwares. So now with all of our downloads downloaded and situated, we now need to work on formatting our USB drive. For this here, we're going to meaning that backup that's been warned here. You should get this a yes drive and list a up. You're going to need to come to boot option. The first must being is going to be fan. Now the volume, and as long as you have a few moments to format, and you're done formatting your USB drive. Now with the drive formatted, let's go ahead, right click, eject it, and take it back over to our console. Don't worry, we're going to mess with the additional downloads later on, but we just have some more work to do on the console. Over the console, plug in your USB drive and navigate over to one of the media columns here, such as music, and you should be able to find a USB device. And if this USB device is showing up, that means it has been formatted properly for your PS3. So now let's work on getting a firmware dump here. Now, once that is all complete, we can, as usual, hit OK here once we understand that. Now go back over to the System Manager tab and wait for the System Manager to load in. And here we go. Once the System Manager comes up, you're going to need to work on getting the flash memory dumped. So for this, you can go to the flash memory option, tap the X button, and there's only going to be one option here, which will be Save Flash Memory Backup. Navigate down to this option, tap X yet again, and at this point you should see your USB drive here. Just tap on your USB drive and tap on Save. Give this a few moments here, and it's now going to begin transferring the flash backup. Now, this could be a few hundred megabytes or only about 16 megabytes, depending on your flash storage type. But it shouldn't take all too long, and once it is done, we can click on Close, and at this point we can close out of our browser, and now unplug the USB drive from your console and take it back over to your computer. Now back at the computer, you must make use of the PS3 Checker standalone package. In order to use this here, you can right click this, use something like 7-zip to extract.
Okay, PS3. Oh, okay, never mind. I'll do this. Not as weird. Extract 2 is we'll take that version.
Extract it into its own folder, and once it's been extracted, double click the folder and you should have something that looks like this here.
I do.
Now you are going to need to bring your flash dump over from your console, and to do that, go to your USB drive and there should be a dump.bin file. You'll just want to right click, copy this out, take it to the PS3 Checker standalone package folder and paste it in right here. At this point, you'll now want to take this file and you'll want to drag and drop it onto the drag and drop your dump here bat file, and just do exactly as it shows. Drag and drop it. You'll see a command prompt window that will come up and go through the checks here, and in short, the main things that you're looking for are going to be the number of dangers and number of warnings. Ideally, we want both of these here to be 0. And just to keep this in mind, if there's any dangers, you do not want to continue on with this. If there's any warnings, you might want to look into the warnings here, but you really want to continue with 0 and 0. If you scroll up, one of the main warnings typically is from ROS 0 and ROS 1 not matching. So if you get something like that, or really if you get any other warnings or dangers, what I recommend doing is taking an official firmware update and reinstalling that update on your PS3. Then when you reinstall the update, go through the process of loading up the PS3 toolset, making a new flash memory dump, and then check that new dump in Pi PS3 checker. Again, ideally our option we're looking for is 0 dangers and 0 warnings, but at this point, since we have 0 dangers and 0 warnings, we should be okay. A final warning right here: if you have any type of dangers or too many warnings, you do risk bricking your console if you continue on with this, which is why it is so important to do this check here and make sure that you are danger and hopefully warning free. Once that's all done, you can close out of here, and the next important thing here is going to be to keep your flash backup somewhere. So for this, typically what I like to do is make a new folder, and if you only have one PS3 or if you have multiple ones, you would just put something like, put in the serial number value right there, flash backup, something like that, and then bring your dump.bin in here. And again, it should be a small enough file, so at this point you can go ahead and save this, back it up somewhere, upload it to cloud storage, because in case anything goes wrong with your flash storage on your PS3, you can always restore this using a hardware flasher. So keep this incredibly safe. These are also individual flashes per console, so you cannot use this flash on another system, and you cannot use another system's flash on your system. However, the major good news here is that our flash looks good, and we should be able to continue on with a custom firmware install. So for this, let's go ahead and get our custom firmware extracted. Just like before, you can right click this, use something such as 7-zip to extract it into its own archive, and inside of the folder that's been made, you can check out
Oh. I did the wrong thing. I was like, uh-oh. There we go.
what we have right here. There is going to be a readme here, so if you want to give this note a quick readme, you're more than welcome.
I read it.
To, and this is actually talking about some new functionality on the firmware itself. There's also some links you can check out if you want to. I believe this is going to be a folder to the rest of the custom firmware variants. And finally, the important thing here is going to be the MD5, which we're going to need for later. So inside of this PS3 folder and the update folder, you'll see it PS3 updat.pup. And we just need to do the exact same thing here. So what we can do is we can just really right click, copy the PS3 folder, take it over to our USB drive right here, and paste it in. Give it a few moments to transfer over, but this is going to be important as well. In order for this to be read properly, if you're using Windows, you'll need to come to View and make sure File Name Extensions has been enabled. But inside of this, you're going to need on the root of your flash drive a PS3 folder. Inside the PS3 folder, you'll need the update folder. And inside the update folder...
Why is this moving at a crawl? We should not be transferring at 710 kilobytes a second. That is bad. Why is that happening? Wow.
Your firmware must be ps3 updat.pup. The file must be all uppercase and exactly like this, and the PS3 and update folders should also be all uppercase. Now this is where you're going to need to verify that your custom firmware has not only downloaded and extracted, but also copied over successfully. So we're going to check the MD5 hash on this. For this, you can come over to the MD5 checker, click on drop file here, or you can drag and drop it, but I'm going to click on drop file here. You don't want to go to the firmware download, you want to go to your actual flash drive itself, go into the PS3 folder, update folder, and
We're seeing all of my personal files.
grab a ps3 updat.pup, click on open, and give it a few moments to hash, and it's now going to give you this series of numbers and letters. This is now where we can grab our md5.txt, or you can grab the md5 hash from the download page if there was one supplied there. Wherever you're getting it from, just go ahead and grab the md5 hash itself. Now we should have something like this, and do keep in mind here that this is not case sensitive. So for example, if you see a capital D and a lowercase d right here, that's not going to make a difference, but the numbers and letters must be matching on here. So check the hash that you've gotten from your application and verify it with...
Darn it, I good form. Alright, Y'all in chat, watch the one over here. Can you read that? I'm going to say you can. I'm going to read this one aloud. 46C72A8A BF5. Here, I'll do it myself. 46C7, 46C7 AE8. We've got ABF565, ABF65, AD. Wait, that's 56. AD. Yep. 03C 68B 3 FC37. Okay, good. Good.
The expected file hash here, and as long as the numbers and letters are matching between the two, that is a good firmware update. If this is not matching, you might have to re-download the firmware update, re-extract it, copy it back over again, and try again. And this one seems a little silly, but this can happen. If you've done this multiple times and you're still getting a mismatching hash, make sure you are not checking the archive file itself. You need to extract this archive and you need to check the actual firmware file on your flash drive. The archive file is not the one to be checked. Now there's one last thing to do with our USB drive, which is, well, to copy over any homebrew to install. These are going to be package files, and all you need to do is grab your package files and drag and drop them to the root of your USB drive, so they'll be next to the PS3 folder. At this point here, if you also want to clean this up a bit, you can remove the dump.bin only if you have backed it up to your computer in a safe place, but that's not going to be needed at this point on the USB drive. So now you should have any homebrew in the root of the USB drive as a package file, and your firmware should have been checked and verified in PS3 update and PS3 updat.pup. Once all that is done, come back out here, right-click, eject your USB drive, and take it over to your PS3. Back over at the PS3, we're going to hopefully be hitting the browser one last time. So you'll just want to open up your internet browser, and we're going to hit the select button, go down to PS3 toolset, and wait for this to load.
I feel like it's about to tell me that I need to restart, but we'll try.
As usual, if it asks you to run a plugin,
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it's been longer than 2 years since I've modded a PS3, because the one that I modded 2 years ago, I didn't put custom firmware on. I put hybrid firmware on it, because it was unable to get custom firmware. What are the odds it tells me I have to restart? I think once you mod it, you get a physical restart button, instead of turning off and on. Hey, looks like we're good. W.
plugin, always say yes to running the plugin. Once everything shows up properly here, we can hit OK, come back up to the system manager and open up this tab. Excellent. Now that we're at this point here, you can come down to the flash memory patch option.
Okay, hold on. My PS3 is a little slow.
Tap the X button on here and tap load patch via HTTP. Find this option here, tap the X button, and give it a few moments. It's now going to find the specific patch for your system and work on downloading it.
Okay. Sweet.
And here we go. Once it is downloaded, it's now going to verify the file is good, and once it is good, we can tap close.
Took his 25 seconds. Let's see how long it takes mine. Longer than 25 seconds, it looks like. Oh. Oh, he beat me by 1. Gotta get that solid state in.
Now, once that's been closed, we're going to work on patching our system. This step is required in order to install custom firmware on the console. Now, do keep in mind, this is essentially going to be the point of no return. When you are applying the patch, you cannot cut power to the system, you cannot stop the process. Doing so can brick your system. So as long as you are all ready to go, go ahead and tap X.
Where'd my page go? Did I press a button? Oh no. Uh-oh. Well, you know what? I hadn't hit that point of no return yet, so guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna restart. Because I hadn't hit that point of no return yet, so that's what we're gonna do. Alright, let's make sure there's nothing else we needed to do here. Okay, we moved everything over
to your PS3. Back over at the PS3, we're going to hopefully be hitting the browser one last time. So you'll just want to open up your internet browser, and we're going to hit the select button, go down to PS3 toolset, and wait for this to load in.
Okay. I don't know if I hit a button when I leaned over or what happened. I was turning off my heater to make sure that there wasn't too much power draw. Okay. User. Oh, I gotta, turn on my controller. True. Log in as user. So, internet browser. This. I'm gonna do this whole process again.
As usual, if it asks you to run a plugin, always say yes to running the plugin.
Hopefully that didn't hurt anything. But even if it bricks, we've got that hardware flasher thing that we can do, so that's good. Okay. I don't know what happened there. That was strange. Yes, run the plugin. Okay. That's good. You go over to System Manager.
Once everything shows up properly here, we can hit OK, come back up to the System Manager, and open up this tab. Excellent. Now that we're at this point here, you can come down to the Flash Memory Patch option, tap the X button on here, and tap Load Patch via HTTP. Find this option here, tap the X button, and give it a few moments. It's now going to find the specific patch for your system and work on downloading it. And here we go. Once it is downloaded, it's now going to verify the file is good, and once it is good, we can tap Close. Now, once that's been closed, we're going to work on patching our system. This step is required in order to install custom firmware on the console. Now, do keep in mind, this is essentially going to be the point of no return. When you are applying the patch, you cannot cut power to the system, you cannot stop the process. Doing so can brick your system. So as long as you are all ready to go, go ahead and tap X yet again. Come down here to apply loaded patch, tap X here. And as it shows here, this can brick your system and you need to tread carefully. Okay. As long as you are all good to continue and you understand the risks, come over to yes, tap the X button on this, and at this point here, physically put down your controller and do not touch it. This is going to take a bit of time. Now, if you have a fat NAND flash system, this is going to patch pretty quickly, but if you have a NOR flash system, whether it is a fat or slim, this is going to take several minutes. It doesn't really matter how long it's going to take as long as the process is complete. There's also going to be a few moments like this where it looks like nothing is happening, or maybe this is soft locked or frozen. Do not worry about this here. Again, just trust the process. Don't touch your system. Don't touch your controller. Just let it finish patching.
I'm gonna gently move down and pause his video. My hands are back up here. What's up, Mr. Vote Bro? I'm currently in the process of modding my PlayStation 3 that I just received in the mail today.
And as you can see, as long as you trust the process, it should patch successfully. You should have that message.
Okay, so it took him about 3 minutes. We're just gonna be real patient. We're not gonna touch nothing. Because I tell you who doesn't want a bricked PS3 the day he received it. This guy. Yo, mine was so much faster. What the heck?
Here, and you should have a green check. Now once that's all completed, you can grab your controller, tap the close option, and now close out of the browser, and your system has been patched for custom firmware. But in order to install it, we have to reboot the system. So hold down the PS button on your controller, turn off the console, and then turn it back on. Once you reboot your system, we can use the
Hold on, slow down there, Hoss.
jailbreak profile one last time, although we're really just doing an update here because guess what? You now actually get to jailbreak the system.
Yippee! Okay, it's all the way off. I'm turning it on. I gotta say, I love the... I think I already said this, but on the PS3 Fat, it was one of those just like, weep, like you could slide your finger across it and the sensor would detect. This is like a nice tactile, like, click. I didn't even notice. Did it say anything different, or was it still okay?
So at this point, make sure your system is turned on. Make sure your USB drive is plugged in and detected.
Yes. Log into the user.
And once it is detected, you can now scroll all the way over to the settings option, go over to the system update, go down to update via storage media, and it should find your EvoNat custom firmware or whichever custom firmware you have chosen. Tap on OK and give it a few moments. Now it is going to give you a licensing agreement here, and as long as you read through and you agree to this, you can navigate over, hit accept, go down to start, tap enter, and now just give this a few moments. It's now going to copy the update data to your system itself. You can navigate over, hit accept, go down to start, tap enter, and now just give this a few moments. It's now going to copy the update data to your system itself, and then it's going to reboot for the next steps. Once you're at the system update page, you just need to grab your controller, press the PlayStation button, and then the update will begin installing. Now this is going to be another step here. You do not want to touch your controller. Update page, you just need to grab your controller, press the PlayStation button, and then the update will begin installing. Now this is going to be another step here. You do not want to touch your controller, do not touch your console, just let the update install. And as a heads up, if it gets a certain way through the update and then it jumps to 100% and reboots your system, that is to be expected. That is a successful install. Again, just give it a few minutes, let it do its own thing, and let the system reboot automatically. And now once your system reboots,
I pressed the,
it should have a little bit of a different boot up here, which means congratulations, your console has been jailbroken.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. This could take a while. How long have I been live? Hour and a half. But if you count all the time that I was fighting with YouTube, probably like 2 hours. It's been so long since I've done hybrid firmware, I can't remember if this is easier or harder. Part of me feels like it's easier, but I could be wrong. I gotta say, I actually, when I first ordered this PS3, I was not too sure on the skin that had been put on it. It actually looks so pretty. I'll pull up a photo on my phone because I tell you what I don't want to touch, and that's the PS3 itself. Good to know. Okay, well that's good. My mother sent me an article about the library needing someone to be hired, which is good because if my job doesn't work out at the school, work at the library. What was I gonna do? Pull up a photo of the PlayStation. It actually looks so nice. Oh, did something. Did it do it correctly, though? That is the question. Is it gonna say Evil Nat? It says Evil Nat! That's how you custom firmware a PlayStation.
Now we can go into the JB profile, and we don't need this anymore. So if you want to, you can come over here, you can grab the profile, hit the triangle button, and delete it since we are now done jailbreaking our system.
I'm gonna make sure there was no process I forgot
Once your system reboot and your system, that is to be expected, that is a success reboot automatically. Now once your system reboots, it should have a little bit of a different boot up here, which means congratulations, your console has been jailbroken. Now we can go into the JB profile, and we don't need this anymore. So if you want to, you can come over here, you can grab the profile, hit the triangle button, and delete it since we are now done jailbreaking our system. However, at this point, we can now go back to our regular profile, and the last thing I'm going to do is show you all how to install some homebrew. So you should be able to again verify that your PlayStation 3 has been jailbroken because there's going to be a few new options right here. If you look around, one of them, for example, in the PlayStation Network column, you'll have a few options here, but if you go over to Game, you should also have a PlayStation 3 folder, and mainly the package manager, which is going to be the most important. Now make sure your USB drive is still plugged in, and to install any homebrew, you need to go into the package manager, go to Install Package Files, go down to Standard, and then find whichever homebrew you are trying to install. Tap the X button on it, give it a few moments, and it's now going to install it directly from your flash drive to the internal storage of your console. And there we go. Once that has been installed, we can exit out of there. And if you want to, you can now remove the USB drive because we do not need it for the remainder of this video.
Let's go.
But if you want to verify your nice new homebrew has been installed, you can now find it, load it up, and give it a few moments. Now here we go. Once this loads in, it should look a little bit different, and don't worry, this is not just like a skin for your XMB. This is a whole different application right here, which allows you to load up backup games from your internal and external drives. Now I don't have anything on the internal or external drive here, but another thing you can do is take your PS1, 2, and 3 discs and back them up directly onto your console using Multiman, which is really nice. Now, I'm not going to be breaking that down here, but I do have a full Multiman tutorial linked down below in the description if you're wanting to get some use out of this application here. Now, one of the other things I recommend is when you come over here, go to your settings within Multiman, and we're going to scroll all the way down to theme audio, and I recommend disabling this just to help with performance on Multiman. And once you're done messing around with Multiman here, you can come over to the MMC all the way down.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know why anybody would want this. Okay.
To theme audio, and I recommend disabling this just to help with performance on Multiman. And once you're done messing around with Multiman here, you can come over to the MMCM page here, go down to quit, and quit out to the XMB. When you come back to the XMB, you'll notice that your Multiman has changed to MMCM, and that is to be expected. There's nothing wrong with the application, but as you can see here, your PlayStation 3 has now been jailbroken. So congratulations, you are jailbroken, you're running a fully fledged custom firmware, and you should be good to go at this point to have some fun and make the most use out of your PlayStation 3. I did cover this early in the video, but just to double check here, since you now have a custom firmware system, I do recommend coming to your system settings and make sure that your automatic update setting is set to off. That way you do not accidentally get updated to the latest official firmware when a new update comes out, and you do not lose your jailbreak. I also do want to extend a big shout out and thank you yet again to the PS3 exploit team, because their efforts here have been absolutely awesome. They've been phenomenal with really pushing the PS3 modding scene forward in the last few years and making it even more accessible for more people to have custom firmware on their PS3s, and really even not custom firmware. At this point, like I said, you can use PS3 Hen.
Woo! Now, have a custom firmware PS3. Can I sign into my PlayStation Network? Let me bring that over here one moment. I don't even know if I remember my PlayStation stuff. Do. Password manager. Which one of these is it, you reckon? I feel like it's neither of those. Here, I'll just find out. I'll just log in real fast. Let's see. And what the email? Don't know what the password. It says it's that. Is it that? It was. Okay. Factor authentication, wherever that's at. There it is. There you go, chat. That is how you jailbreak right there. I have to type in mine. So hard to read. Oh, I missed a letter. R instead of a. Oh, it looks weird on here. There's my. Already kind of forgotten it. Should be that. I got a scan QR code. Is that it? Code. Open link. Gotcha. Interesting. So they make like a one-time password. That's pretty interesting. I mean, that's smart. That's how you'd get around the like two-factor authentication. That was a long password. Okay. Work. Oh! Get that. Can you still buy stuff on the PlayStation Store? Literally have no clue. Oh! Sys calls. Disable sys calls to log in on PlayStation. Okay, whatever. There's sys calls. Oh, no, no. Gotta get PSN pack. Okay, well I'll deal with that later. Can I still see my trophy collection? Nope. Well, how do I get my PSN pack? Interesting. Okay. So you have to... Interesting. So you have to, run, go to tool, PSN patch, restart your PS3. R3, R2. The odds of them banning me are so low. PSN patch stealth. Released in 2017. There's not a newer one? What about, what am I reading this Reddit thing? 3 years ago. PS3 cloud drive is crazy. PSN patch. No, that's the one. Okay. Oh, that's fine. Take you out. We put you in. It's basically just a live stream watching me experiment with my PlayStation now. I feel like it was not like this when, also, I don't know what these things are, but surely they're not needed. Get out of here. Guess we'll find out if they were needed. PSN patch on there. We can get rid of multipan. Eject. Package. Install. Standard. Oh, there's two of them. Oh, I'll just get the first one. Okay. Where'd the website go? Okay. General rule. Install. Then you run. Then you go to Toolbox. Oh. Select Toolbox. Install PSN patch plugin. Start. I change. I hit start. Did it work? I guess I didn't hit it hard enough. There we go. Interesting. Very interesting. So now, oh, there's not. I thought there was a restart. Maybe that's from if you're in EMM. What was it called? MMCM. Maybe there. Okay. Well, I think it restarted, but I still want to just to be sure. Okay. Now that's off, so we turn it back on. I think it's funny how it does this color thing. Okay. L3, R3, R2. Oh. Oh. I guess that was just because, okay. Sign in. Oh, but. Oh. Wait. Thought I did. Brother, what? Okay. I'll look into this on my own time. Anyway, I got it modded. So that's cool. Now I just gotta figure out how to do this. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna head out. I'll be back in roughly an hour and a half. See ya!